Hello everybody, what's up, how are you all doing? Hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome to my channel, welcome back to my garden. Yaje here, and the purpose of today's video is to share with you 5 things that I wish I knew before cultivating ugu, or the fluted pumpkin, out here in the USA. If you are someone who wants to cultivate this vegetable and you have never done it before, or you have done it unsuccessfully before, please watch this video so that you don't make the same mistakes that I made. I have learned a few things trying to cultivate this vegetable in my backyard out here in the USA in zone 9. Been here for a while, you know I have been trying to cultivate the vegetable right behind me on the trail. Is down that one. It's known as the ugu in Nigeria. In Cameroon, where I'm from, we refer to it as the okong, obong. The local name is the fluted pumpkin, and there is a scientific name for it. I'm going to leave that right here. It is a very important vegetable from in Africa, in West Africa, Nigeria especially, and in Cameroon. And this year I decided to really make an effort to cultivate this vegetable in my backyard. I recorded some success, but I also made a few mistakes because of ignorance. So I went on a mission to educate myself, and today I just wanted to share with you some things I wish I knew before going down this path. So if you're new to gardening and you'd like to cultivate this vegetable, and I encourage you to cultivate it, some things that you might want to know. Please, if you are an expert at cultivating this vegetable and you're watching me, also share with me in the in the comment section below what has worked for you, what has been your experience, and what has worked for you. Thank you so much. All right, let's get into it. The very first thing that I learned the hard way is that the ugu seed is a recalcitrant seed. What that means is it is not viable for too long after you break it open from the fruit or from the pod. In fact, some sources say 3 days after, and the viability starts to really decline significantly. I did not know that. I planted my seed. I was waiting for up to a month and nothing germinated. I was just there waiting, not knowing, even though I had read that it should take between 7 to 10 days to germinate. I thought, okay, maybe it's just taking its time, maybe it's the weather, maybe it's too cold. I waited, and then finally dug open the ground, and the seed was rotten in there. So that's when I found out that my seeds were not viable, because the seeds are recalcitrant seeds and they had to be like fresh, almost fresh from the pod to germinate. So do not make that mistake. The second thing about growing the fluted pumpkin that you should know is that there is an orientation to the seed. Now, the seed is really a big seed, and it has a pointy top and a flat base. And when you are sowing your seed, that pointed top has to be facing down, and then the flat base has to be facing up for the plant to germinate. Otherwise, you know, it might not germinate. If you're not sure which one is the pointy top and which one is the flat base, it's best to lay it flat. Okay, so that's one thing about growing ugu that I think you should know. And the third thing about growing this vegetable that you should know is the soil. This vegetable requires very rich in nitrogen rich soil. That means that you really need to amend your soil with something like chicken manure. Especially ugu needs nitrogen to do well. What I have right now is not as vibrant as it should be, and that's because I really did not do what I needed to do with the soil right from the onset. Now I know to add a bunch of chicken manure before ever planting my ugu. So don't make that mistake. Amend your soil with nitrogen rich compost, such as a lot of chicken manure. And the fourth thing about growing the ugu that you should know is that you can keep harvesting for up to 8 months. So you see, it's a very productive vegetable. That means for us out here outside of the tropics, where we have the cold season, you know, we have winter, it means that planting your ugu at the beginning of the seed planting season, somewhere around March for me anyway, would be a good idea. That way you have a very long time to keep harvesting. You see, I planted mine in May, late May, getting to June almost. That means winter is going to be here when it's still kind of producing, if you know what I mean. So knowing that you can harvest for up to 8 months means you can properly time when to plant your ugu seeds. It takes again about 7 to 10 days for the seeds to germinate, and then you can start harvesting about 30 days after it germinates, and then keep harvesting for up to 8 months after that. So this information will help you time your sowing properly to coincide with spring, summer, and fall and winter. That way you have a very long harvesting period. And the fifth thing that I think is important, which is a lesson that I just learned recently, is that it takes about, what is it? Is that I have my notes here. Is that it takes about 6 months after the seed germinates for the ugu plant to start to produce fruit. Somebody was asking me if mine is producing fruit yet, and the answer is no. It's only been about 4 months. So I was thinking maybe something is wrong. Now that I know that it can take up to 6 months for the after planting for the ugu plant to produce fruits, I know that I can wait. And also, after it produces the fruit, it can take up to 9 weeks for the seeds inside the fruits to mature, right? Up to 9 weeks. So that is a long time. And oh, here's a bonus. Here is something that you need to know. Ugu is dioecious, I think that's how they say it, which means that there is a male ugu plant and there is a female ugu plant. The flowers are different. Look, here is the flower from the male ugu plant. It has like tendrils, small flowers. This one is not going to produce the fruit. The female ugu is the one that produces the fruit and then the seeds. And this is important for me because one of the major reasons for me cultivating this vegetable this year is to try to get the fruit so I can get seeds. But unfortunately for me, I have not had any female flowers yet. I am still patient and I am still waiting. There are other ways to identify the male ugu plant other than from looking at the flowers. The male ugu plant produces very tiny leaves. I mean, I just think that male ugu is useless. That's just me. Very tiny leaves. The female ugu has bigger leaves. So if you're growing this thing, even for the leaves, you're better off growing female ugu plants because they produce big leaves. The male ugu produces tiny leaves and then makes a bunch of these flowers that will not produce any fruit, so just useless. Anyway, that's what I wanted to stop by and share with you. A few things that I have learned about ugu, about cultivating the ugu. Hopefully this added some value to you. If it did, give the video a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel yet, please consider doing so. It means a lot to me. And if you do cultivate ugu, I would like to hear from you what your experience has been. Leave me a note in the comment section below. I do appreciate you all. Thank you again. Grow a garden, because when you grow a garden, you do grow health. Until next time, guys. Bye.
Tamu nyume beri we o